I'm Alex Wissink, a historian specialized in the Viking Age. When people talk about the Viking Age, it often sounds like a fixed and self-evident period of history with clear dates, clear boundaries, and a clear meaning. Much like the word Viking, as we've seen in the previous video, the Viking Age is a term that is far less straightforward than it may appear. In this video, I want to explain what historians usually mean when they talk about the Viking Age. Where do the dates that the historians use come from, and why the Viking Age should be understood as an interpretive tool rather than a fixed historical reality. First of all, let's discuss where the term comes from. It's quite a modern idea and not a medieval one. The concept of a Viking Age first appeared in 19th century Scandinavian scholarship. Historians at the time were dividing the past into named periods to make sense of long and complicated histories, and this is where the term Viking Age first appeared. So, needless to say, the Viking Age was not a natural historical reality. The Vikings did not know that they were living in the Viking Age. It's a useful framework, a tool that we can use as historians to organize the past. Like any other framework, a framework needs boundaries. So traditionally, the Viking Age begins in 793 with the raid on the monastery of Lindisfarne. This is a Viking attack that really shocked the Christian world in the Middle Ages and was recorded in Anglo-Saxon sources. Because it was dramatic and well documented, it became a convenient starting point for the Viking Age. Viking Age is then set to end at 1066 at the Battle of the Stamford Bridge, when the English king Harold Godwinson defeated the Norwegian king Harald Hardrada, or the Hard Ruler. These are dates that are quite familiar. They are widely repeated and very easy to remember. But they do conceal a great deal of complexity, and obviously can and have been questioned in academic circles. First of all, because it is arbitrary, these events are memorable, but they don't mark sudden changes in Scandinavian society or early medieval society. Second, it's very Anglo-centric, meaning that it's very focused on England. Both the beginning and the end are defined by events in England, not by what was happening in Scandinavia itself, for instance, or other parts of Europe. This really makes it seem as if the Viking Age started when Vikings started to attack England and ended when they stopped being a problem for England. Obviously, this is a very narrow perspective. You could argue that the Viking Age actually started earlier. Long before 793, the attack on Lindisfarne, Scandinavians were already traveling abroad, mainly for trade. Around 700, Europe saw a major expansion in long distance trade and commerce. Wealthy towns, trading towns emerged, including Dorestad, Quentovik, Hamwick, York, and Ipswich. Scandinavians were very much a part of this trading world. And the attacks didn't appear out of nowhere. It developed alongside trade, often targeting the same wealthy trading places. That's also the reason why many historians argue for an earlier date than 793 as the start of the Viking Age. As for the ending of the Viking Age, or the traditional ending of the Viking Age, the battle at Stamford Bridge, there's also been a lot of critique among historians. So even after the Battle of Stamford Bridge, Scandinavians didn't simply vanish. For instance, in 1070, the Danish king Sven Estridsson returned to England, supported by English nobles, to claim the English throne. He failed, but it's the attempt that matters. Moreover, in 1075, his son Knut arrived with another Danish fleet. So this goes to show that Viking activity clearly continued beyond the traditional end date. Other historians have criticized the fact that the traditional dates mainly look at attacks in England. Many scholars point to changes within Scandinavia instead of England. For instance, the spread of Christianity and the establishment of the church really transformed society in Scandinavia in fields such as literacy, written administration, centralized kingship, and also closer ties to Christian Europe. And it is this slow process, so sometimes called the Europeanization of Scandinavia, that arguably marks the true end of the Viking Age. Not a single battle, but a long transition. But as I said again, there are many opinions revolving around when the Viking Age really ends. With all this in mind, and also because of the arbitrariness of the traditional dates, most historians nowadays, when they refer to the Viking Age, they mean from the mid 8th century to the mid 11th century. This will also be the demarcation that I will use when I talk about the Viking Age on this channel. So you could obviously say, why even use demarcations at all? Why use the Viking age as a term? As I've said, it's a late man-made construction. The outlines are approximations, so useful reference points, and not hard borders. As long as we remember that, the Viking Age is still a useful term for us historians. The Viking Age is not a fixed reality, it is a tool, as I've explained in this video, a late human-made construction designed to help us make sense of a very complicated and mysterious history. Once again, thank you for watching this video. Take care and see you in another video.